spot somebody or a group of men in a car that smells like marijuana. My question is, what is the statutory authority for a peace officer, or for peace officers, what they're supposed to be, but they're really policy enforcers, but what is the statutory authority for a peace officer to make that call to be able to stop a car for a traffic stop based off of smelling marijuana at a gas station? That's the question Officer Batts won't answer, and if you need ask him. So if anybody can find that, what the statutory authority is for that, that would be awesome for me, because I have
let me share something with you. The standard has really been lowered. It's a reasonable suspicion. And the other thing that people are mistaken about,
this is important.
Marijuana is not legal. And wait a minute, brother. Let me just make the point.
Hold on, Maurice. And I want you to finish.
It's not legal. It has been decriminalized, and any type of paraphernalia that's associated with a criminal act, and it's in plain view. And he used his senses to say, hey, a crime is committed because it's not legal. It's been decriminalized based upon a quantity, but there's still reasonable suspicion that he sent out something on the airway to pull him over.
So, Maurice, do you see, this is, I think you're raising a very important point. Ernest raised it. Even Bilal asked the question, what do you think, Maurice?
Yeah.
Do you think the officer was, and I don't want to say being honest, do you think the officer had a genuine obligation because he smelled marijuana, which is still illegal, folks? I hope people don't think in any way that it has changed that drastically. They only approved medicalization for now, and they're moving forward. And it's going to be legal in this state. Don't get me wrong; it's going to happen. But Maurice, do you think that officer had an obligation? He smelled marijuana.
I'm not asking about if he had an obligation.
Okay.
I'm asking if he had a statutory authority.
Yeah.
And from my research, he didn't. And a lot of people smoke marijuana out here. So if you smoke, I mean, you have to. Okay, let me pause for a second. Did he find any marijuana in the search of the car? Is a good question. Because if he found marijuana,
I'm not sure. That's a very good question.
So that's a question we have to ask the police commissioner. Did he find any marijuana? Because if you smell anything, especially when marijuana is decriminalized to 10 ounces or to 10 grams, that's not reasonable suspicion. You have to see something. You have to see a transaction. You can't just smell something and say, oh, well, that car has marijuana. That's not reasonable.
But Maurice,
well, your tools, your senses are tools to interpret your environment. So if you walk into an environment and you can smell, that's the first senses that's going to go off. If it smells like smoke and it's smoking, then it may be reasonably or logically will bring you to the conclusion that it may be some illegal act.
Maurice, can I ask you something else about, because I think your analysis is, that's the way we're supposed to look at these things. We're supposed to ask the critical questions. We're supposed to demand answers. But what about the young man, 19 years old, shot at this police officer 3 times?
I would go back to the statutory authority of detaining individual. If the individual felt like his life was at risk by officers illegally detaining them, then I would think that individual has a God-given right to protect himself, especially in the environment we see in America where police are killing men that look like him with guns. So if you are to protect yourself to stay alive and you have a gun on you, because maybe you are, per se, you live in an area where you may need to carry a gun, or you have a business where you need to carry a gun and you need to protect your life, it only makes sense if somebody's trying to detain me illegally and I don't want to die, that I want to protect my life.
Maurice, I want you to become friends with me on Facebook because I want to talk to you more. I think that's an interesting analysis that you just made. Maurice, I appreciate you calling Catonsville, 410-319-8888. A lot of headlines this year. Callers are on the line. I do want to give you some of my headlines that I want.
On my way to Courtney's house, and I turn on 88.9, and he just so happens to be the caller.
The Democratic primary in the state of Maryland for governor was supposed to be close. It ended up not even.